A delegation of Taiwanese Tzu Chi volunteers arrive in Jordan and help distribute scholarships to refugee children. We celebrate the groundbreaking ceremony of a Buddhist hospital in Penang, Malaysia. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Lee-Shioda. Thank you for joining us. The 2016 Tzu Chi Jordan Medical and Relief Team safely arrived in Jordan on the morning of December 24th, local time. After the group of volunteers had a bit of lunch, they immediately set out for a home for the refugees to hold a scholarship distribution for the 29 children needing financial assistance.
It's Christmas Eve here in Jordan at the Suele Home for Refugees. There are no fancy decorations, but the warmth of the holidays felt throughout the facilities. Girls sing a song to welcome their special guests. Among the group of Tzu Chi volunteers, 36 of them have just arrived in Jordan from Taiwan after a long 13-hour journey. However, everyone quickly forgot their fatigue upon seeing the happy faces. Having a great time with one another, there doesn't seem to be any awkwardness or unfamiliarity between the volunteers and children. At another corner of the home is Taiwanese Tzu Chi Hospital Dr. Chen Jianhua, who doesn't forget his occupation when he meets the children.
我就拉着他的手，结果发现说他的手非常的冰冷。
When I was holding his hand, I felt it was very cold. Due to my occupation as a doctor, I gave him a once-over to check his health condition. I discovered he's a bit anemic. The master was afraid of us being cold, so she gave us thick winter jackets to wear. With my warm hands, I thought I can use this time to warm up his hand with mine. When his hands are warm, so will his heart be warmed.
他感受到他的手能够慢慢暖和起来，那顺便的也是他心里也感觉到温暖。
The 35 families that live at Suele are those who have escaped Syria during the early civil unrest. In 2012, 4 Syrian businessmen helped them seek shelter here temporarily. But as peace in their hometowns seemed to be far away, funds continued to be needed. In the end, the financial backers of this home also came across problems of their own and could no longer afford to give. Now, currently, there are 29 students whose education are on the verge of being cut off if their tuition is not paid by the end of December 2016. Upon learning of the situation, Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Chouhua sent the home a gift of support for Master Zheng Yan.
When I returned to Jordan, a special opportunity came up, and that's when I heard our volunteers were coming to Jordan. So I announced we were coming to help the 29 students with their tuition. When I visited the school the day before, the principal already had the receipts for me. I asked her, "How did you know I will come back with the money?" She said, "Because you are from Tzu Chi, and you are honest and keep to your word." I am quite touched by people's impression of Tzu Chi and the good that we are doing.
With the volunteers from Taiwan's assistance, Tzu Chi held a first-ever scholarship award ceremony in the home. When the students and parents heard that the financial support came from the love of global Tzu Chi volunteers, they immediately donated some money back to the organization. Actually, sharing with the less fortunate has always been a doctrine of Muslims as well. These hearts that have been far away from their home for so long have been able to rest at ease once more, knowing they are in good hands, thanks to the assistance of Tzu Chi volunteers.
Next, we have a 3-part story taking place in China at Henan's Xuchang City, starting with an aid distribution for the impoverished residents of the township of Wunüdian.
Before daybreak at 4 a.m., Tzu Chi volunteers start to get everything ready for the winter aid distribution. Despite the cold weather, everyone works together to carry bags of rice and quilts.
We got up at 3:30 a.m. today, which is 2 hours earlier than normal. We still feel very happy because we can do something for impoverished care recipients.
I work out ordinarily, so I don't think it's tiring. I can contribute a little to everyone in the society.
Penang's winter aid distribution this year is held in Xuchang City's Wu-Nu-Dien Township. Nearly 900 residents from 593 families have benefited from this event. Because of the cold weather, the aid provided includes rice, salt, vegetable oil, and cotton padded jackets.
I have received the rice and clothes.
I feel cold at home. Sometimes my sister and I have to hide under the quilt to stay warm.
Whenever I see the impoverished, I always want to help out. Tzu Chi's humanitarianism makes me understand the importance of caring for others.
Tzu Chi volunteers care for each recipient by bringing them love and warmth. 35-year-old Li Huiping got into a severe car accident 4 years ago, which caused her and her husband to undergo amputations. Since her family suffers financially and she still has to raise her 2 children, she came to this aid distribution to seek assistance. A doctor also stepped up to care for her.
这你需要，这个对你功能最好的恢复、最快的恢复就是假肢。然后呢，你需要有个3个月到半年时间带着假肢来锻炼。然后呢，你行走啥怎么都过来了。
Though the aid distribution may be held only once a year, Tzu Chi will continue to bring compassion and warmth to local residents this winter.
After the winter aid distribution in Wu-Nu-Dien, Tzu Chi volunteers were divided into 7 groups to visit the elderly on home visitations. As most of the seniors lack companionship in their life, they were most happy to receive the volunteers.
Tzu Chi volunteers have to walk across this muddy road to bring a variety of aid supplies for elderly people with mobility issues who were unable to attend a Henan winter aid distribution. Volunteers divided into 7 different groups to pay visits to nursing homes or seniors' homes to care for them.
那个内衣哦，很保暖的。内衣棉的啊？哎，对，棉的，很保暖的哦。
We bring these aid supplies to their homes. Through this event, we can also understand their current living condition.
这个好保暖的哦。保暖。哦，对。
With Tzu Chi volunteers' care and love, 94-year-old Mrs. Tao feels very happy while she put on her new clothes and received her new quilt. Meanwhile, 91-year-old Mr. Liu, who lives alone, burst into tears when he saw many people coming to care for him. Each volunteer feels sympathy for him.
自己心中的那一股力量增加了。
I have gained more power in my heart, which also allows our wisdom to grow.
我们智慧的成长。
Tzu Chi volunteers make their way to each village to bring warmth and love to all of the residents.
After Tzu Chi volunteers accompany and care for the elderly with love and sincerity, all of the seniors can finally have big smiles on their faces.
In our third segment in Henan Province's Xuchang City, we take a look at a blessing ceremony that was held, where many parents brought their children to attend. And a Tzu Chi care recipient who once felt helpless about his life also joined the event to share his story of transformation.
30-year-old Yang Liangtao has a tough life. At 6 years ago, he started to undergo long-term dialysis due to uremia. Though he used to feel hopeless, he now opens his heart after encountering the care and comforts of Tzu Chi volunteers. Yang joined Tzu Chi to spread love by attending this year-end blessing ceremony.
1个月就是10次，有病嘛，心情肯定是。
I have to undergo dialysis 10 times a month. I feel down because I have an illness. I used to feel depressed and hopeless, but now I feel that there are still many things I need to do.
Many parents take their children to attend this year-end blessing ceremony in Xuchang City of Henan Province. The principal of a kindergarten nearby invites all of them to join this event with the hope of planting good seeds when children are still young.
I want them to experience Tzu Chi's humanitarianism and the spirit of gratitude, respect, and love. I think it's also necessary for parents to introduce their kids to this.
I hope that after attending this event, all my family can be happy every day and live a fortunate life.
These red envelopes of blessing and wisdom not only bring blessings and hope for each recipient, but can also spread love to every corner of society.
Next, we join two year-end celebrations in Taipei, Taiwan, one located in Shilin, the other in Da'an. Though the performances were different at each of the locations, the sentiment was the same, with themes of recalling the good deeds of the past year and repenting for one's wrongdoings. Due to her adoptive mother's method of raising children, Huang Qiumei vowed she'd marry the first person that wants to marry her. In the end, when her marriage didn't turn out well, her adoptive mother stepped in to care for her children so that Huang could continue to work.
After I became involved in Tzu Chi, I've realized that I have many bad thoughts about my mother. Even a single word from her could lead to my misunderstanding. But after studying the sutra text, I've come to understand that I was in the wrong. I was being disrespectful to my mother. I will repent.
As Jian Lee-Shioda watched the real-life story unfold on stage, she came to realize she harbored bad thoughts towards her own mother too. But now she wants to repent.
Mother, I'm sorry. I wasn't mature before. When my life was difficult, sometimes you said mean things to me. But now that you are in heaven, I want to send you blessings. I also did many things that upset you. Perhaps you said those things because you love me.
There will always be adversity in life. However, with the change in mindset, fortuitousness will come.
When you are faced against a wall, you must drink Tzu Chi's 4 spiritual soup. Have you heard of them? Repeat after me: contentment, gratitude, understanding, and accommodation.
Elsewhere at the year-end blessing ceremony, team members are safeguarding residents' health. At the annual year-end blessing ceremony hosted by the Taipei branch, each session is filled to the brim with residents looking to celebrate. Tzu Chi Care recipient Mr. Xu is thankful that volunteers have asked him to join them for an early morning lecture with the master.
My heart is more at ease and my emotions are stable.
Due to effects of her chemotherapy, Mrs. Jing doesn't speak much. Once she receives her red envelope of blessing of wisdom, she immediately puts it in her purse. Just like a family reunion, memories of the past year are recalled. This is Canadian Paul Gilroy's first year-end blessing ceremony with Tzu Chi, and he is quite proud of the work Tzu Chi has done.
What it is, it's not just talking or saying what people should do. It's people physically going out and feeding people and helping people, giving people a hug.
A sutra adaptation of the Medicine Buddha was performed. Among the on-stage volunteers is Peng Jingwei. This is his first time joining such a performance. Today, he'd like to thank all those who helped him along the way after he got into a severe car accident.
I must say, if during my recovery period one of my physical therapists was missing, I couldn't be here standing in front of everyone.
He had many bodhisattvas to help him, so now we hope he can be a bodhisattva to help others.
The cycle of love continues as it is passed from one person to the next. After many years of planning and preparation, a new Buddhist hospital has been approved for construction in Penang, Malaysia. The project is headed by the Kek Lok Si Temple and is expected to be completed in 2020.
After many years of planning and saving donations, a new Buddhist hospital has been approved for construction in Penang, Malaysia, under the direction of the Kek Lok Si Temple. An event was held to commemorate the beginning of the project, with temple elders, government officials, and medical professionals. Representatives of Tzu Chi also joined the event to show their support and offer congratulations.
Today's
event is very symbolic. In 3.5 years, there will be a Buddhist hospital operating here.
All the medical professionals here, do your best to create a wonderful Tzu Chi hospital here. I hope you will offer the best care and service in your work to the benefit of all the patients and people that need treatment. We want to give them the best.
This will be the first Buddhist hospital funded by charity in Malaysia. The project has been approved by the Ministry of Health and will have 5 stories, 50 beds, and will cover 68,000 square feet. It is expected to open in 2020.
This is to help the poor, especially for all Malaysians. It's open not only for Buddhists, it's for all, regardless of races, you know. And our hospital is a charitable hospital. If those people they can afford, of course they pay lah. Those they can't afford, they no need to pay for it.
New medical center is a very meaningful project for this community, and we, on behalf of Tzu Chi, we want to send our best wishes and blessings.
Ong Mui Ching is a single mother living in Malacca. She has 2 children and it is not easy for her to raise them on her own. Fortunately, Tzu Chi volunteers have been helping them financially and spiritually. Then 6 years ago, she began doing recycling and now she has received her recycling volunteer identification card.
Ong Mui Ching feels very proud when she received the recycling volunteer certification.
Now I am a member of Tzu Chi.
At least she has come out of it and sees the world. We want her to know that she's not alone. If she encounters any problem, Tzu Chi volunteers will help her.
Ong Mui Ching is a single mother, but she suffered from depression for years, so she felt helpless while raising 2 children alone. Back then, the volunteers visit her every month and help her family financially.
For the past 13 years, we came across many setbacks, but Tzu Chi was always the first one to help us. We are very moved. Thank you so much.
For the past 6 years, Ong Mui Ching has been doing recycling every week at a recycling station.
Knowing that Tzu Chi has helped us so much, I decided to come out and volunteer, as it is more blessed to give than to receive.
Ong Mui Ching writes a card to show appreciation to the volunteers.
You are important people in my life, because when we came across difficulties, your speedy help and consolation always eased our minds. Here, I would like to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all good wishes. Next year, when the full implementation of the Long-Term Care Act 2.0 takes place, it will surely highlight the shortage of Taiwan-based caregivers, as the number of seniors needing care will increase to more than 738,000. Although more than 30 colleges and universities in the country have set up long-term care departments, less than 26% of the graduates remain in the field. This shows that the number of caregivers continue to be inadequate. Stay with us as we continue to explore the topic of middle-aged poor families.
Talking about her pimples makes her grandmother laugh as Shu Wanting entered the caregiver profession and uses the same method to make others laugh.
I'm happy to play with elderly people, and they may even play with you as if you were a grandchild. I feel that I'm caring for someone else's elders and not taking care of my own grandmother, which I feel is a pity.
Separated by locations, her grandmother decided to stay in her familiar home, but every weekend her grandchildren take turns to be with her. Grandmother was frequently forgetful, but now she has been diagnosed with dementia.
After seeing grandmother become this way, which is typical of those who suffer from dementia, but it still makes me feel very sad.
Swallowing her tears, this granddaughter just wants to grasp the moment and show her filial piety, but above all else, she wants to show love to elders.
Elders of the dementia may forget childhood companions, but they will remember those that they are close with every day, who give them love, such as caregivers and teachers. They remember those who accompanied them at the end of their final journey in life.
The help of caregivers not only aids the sick and elderly, but also their families are grateful because they can rest assured that their family members are taken care of while they get a rest. But the worrying part is that there is a very serious shortage of staffing in this profession.
Before, I didn't think of studying senior citizen welfare department, but I had been chosen by school, then I accepted this arrangement.
While Lil casually accepted this course of study after graduation, she would soon learn the difficulty of the work.
Taiwan has many sick and elderly people who need care, and we need young people in this profession.
As a result, more than 30 domestic higher education institutions have set up programs to train people in this field.
What we learn in school can be applied in the future workplace and also help many elders who need assistance.
Last year, there are more than 4,700 graduates from the university and college programs, while Taiwan's vocational training programs and units produced 110,000 staff, and 32,706 undertook licensing. This means that more than 147,000 Taiwanese could work in this industry, but only 38,000 or 26% choose to enter the long-term care programs or hospitals. Why does the shortage of caregivers in this industry persist?
In other people's eyes, being a professional caregiver is not a respectable professional, with many unwilling to do it, especially young people.
Some of my classmates who entered the industry were offended that you have to change diapers and then did all kinds of different activities, as they would do this job for months before leaving.
The lack of staff in this industry led the Labor Ministry to give up academic requirements for entering the industry. As long as someone undertook 90 hours of care training, they could enter this profession. 50-year-old Chen Shuya is a bit older than other professional caregivers, but she does just as good a job as younger staff.
If you care about them, these elders will also care about you. I feel that this work gives me a sense of accomplishment.
Actually, these caregivers don't mean they need to graduate from college. As long as they are enthusiastic about the service is the only requirement. Actually, we have many that enter the caregiver profession without training.
Every year, the government trains some 5,000 caregivers in the community, though many choose not to remain in this profession. Taiwan's domestic caregivers number less than 40,000, though the number of foreign caregivers is more than 220,000.
We don't have enough staff, and the overall quality of care will be affected.
How can we no longer be dependent upon foreign caregivers? We would need to raise the salary and standards.
With the Long-Term Care Act 2.0 going into effect this year, and one of the most important challenges will be recruiting more domestic caregivers to meet the stated goals of this program and avert an aging crisis that threatens the country.
At the end of the program, we head to Zhanghua's Yunlin, where Tzu Chi volunteers has helped a care recipient rebuild her home after a fire. To reciprocate the volunteers' assistance, Mrs. Liao heads to the recycling station to do her part for the planet. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.